why Elmhurst, and what do you think is happening at the Elm Church where people should be involved?
All of us are looking for community at the time, right? We were all outside of churches and kind of going, we don't have a church to call our own, but we don't want a community just for ourselves. We wanted a community that would create community for other people. I think that's what we were seeing in Elmhurst. We saw that people were longing for community. They were longing for a place of belonging where they would be loved and cherished and developed, and life would be shared, but not for themselves. And in Elmhurst, being so diverse, if there's a place where we can really catalyze adaptive community that says, you know what, people are different and I'm going to learn to love the difference. If we can catalyze that kind of community formation for other people, that's exciting to be part of.
We've always been ranked as a very diverse zip code. So when you think about church planting and growing, the Christian family here, this is an amazing and an appropriate place. The diverse nations is in our backyard. You don't have to go far,
Elmhurst is not an easy place to get along with others. You just kind of stick to your ethnic enclave. At least that's how it was when I was growing up, which makes it very difficult to be open to meeting new people. First of all, they're immigrants and who knows what they're hiding. They're probably in hiding. And I feel like when you're in that situation, a genuine outreach arm is so meaningful. And I think that needs to be seen. If there were people that want to do more, it's to reach out more to those people who you think are in hiding. Of course, not to harm, like reaching out with generosity, with hospitality, and sharing with them the good news, but through your lives, not just, yes, words are important, and definitely the gospel needs to be proclaimed with your voice. That and your life, your time, your money, your heart, and doing it all, wholeheartedly.
We're always thinking what's better, what's next, where should I end up later on? But to have God say, no, come back to your home, come back to New York, and then root here. I think that's very challenging and scary. I think, what the Elm is doing here is that we're being challenged to be rooted. Our church is called the Elm. We're challenged to be rooted here, to grow here, and to flourish, actually. So we're not just growing something that's not going to flourish. We know the Lord will flourish this because He planted this church. Our God is a God who makes dead things alive, right? And to also uplift those who have been cast aside as like the least of these. And to see the Lord use our church in that way, in the past year, even throughout the pandemic, to use us to bless others, even though we ourselves were like, there's some days we wake up, we're like, Lord, do we even have enough? But yet, the Lord is enough. And I think, coming to join us here at the Elm, we will be challenged. We are a church plant, right? But I think it will be worth it.
I think so many people in this neighborhood feel overlooked. They feel like they have no usefulness. And then to bring the gospel to bear on that and say, our God makes that which seems dead alive, that which seems useless to be the most useful. Like there's so many that would probably, without community, they would be easily led to believe that there's no place for them. For a church to come in and say, we're here, we're planted, but we're planted with people that at one time or another felt this intensely. We were dead, and God made us alive. Not just in terms of like our spiritual deadness and aliveness, but even like that sense of like, I have no belonging. I'm dead.
I think as you were speaking, I thought of how you hit all 4 of our core values at the Elm. And I was thinking, well, this question is great. Like, what is happening at the Elm that, I should be involved? That was the actual question. And I think you hit all of our core values, which is gospel-centered. Like how do we bring the gospel to everything that we do, right? Especially in the neighborhood. And then we're city positive. We're thinking about the people, that are feeling dead, useless, how do we do life with them and make them feel like they're part of something, a movement? And then just being relational, right? Like that's so important for us, how we have to and want to consider each other, where people are not projects, where people are being thought of, and not just thought of, but considering leads to action. And then that creates, that makes people want to multiply, which is our last one. Like how do we multiply, this mentality of, loving others and growing. So we're not just about ourselves, but how do we create platforms so others can stand on it and be elevated and be developed.